afternoon, everyone. You know, there are politicians who travel overseas to gather the facts. Then there's politicians who travel overseas seemingly to hoping to become the story. This past Wednesday, Congressman Ro Khanna traveled to West Bank to meet with the Palestinian farmers. According to Congressman Khanna, he and his congressional delegation were detained by Israeli settlers and then by Israeli Defense Force personnel. The IDF has publicly denied detaining the delegation, stating that while civilians briefly blocked the road, Israeli forces dispersed them and allowed the delegation to continue. So here's my first question. Before members of Congress begin demanding arrests, perhaps we should first determine exactly what happened. That's usually how investigations work, at least they used to. Yet after appearing on multiple national television programs, including Fox News, Congressman Khanna continues calling for Israeli settlers and Israeli soldiers to be arrested. Arrested? That's a pretty serious accusation. Normally, serious accusations are followed by serious evidence. Instead, what America has been given is two completely different versions of the same event. One from Congressman Khanna and one from Israeli military. And somehow, we're expected to decide who's right before all the facts are known. That's not how justice works. It's certainly not how foreign policy should work. And here's another question. Why was the trip apparently not coordinated with Israeli security force beforehand? Congressional delegations have visited the West Bank for years. Republicans, Democrats, members with different opinions about Israeli policy. The difference? Those visits have often been coordinated with relevant security authorities. This isn't just common sense, it's basic diplomacy. And more importantly, it's a basic survival. Israel isn't dealing with peaceful coordination right now. The country continues facing security threats on multiple fronts, including ongoing tensions involving Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Iran. Whether you agree with every Israeli policy or not, nobody can seriously argue this is normal security environment. So voluntarily entering a sensitive area without proper coordination, if this is indeed what occurred, raises legitimate questions, not just about planning, but about judgment. If you know tensions are extraordinarily high, if you know military operations are ongoing, if you know security forces are already stretching thin, why would you make your visit more complicated than it has to be? And if your goal truly is dialogue, wouldn't coordinating with Israeli authorities actually improve the chances of having a productive visit? Unless the objective wasn't simply the visit. Maybe the objective was the headline afterwards. Now, I don't know Congressman Khanna's intentions, neither do you, but perception matters. And when cameras seem to be appearing almost quickly as the accusations, people naturally begin asking questions. Congressman Khanna has spent years criticizing Israeli policy. That's his right. Members of Congress should debate foreign policy. They should ask difficult questions. They should challenge allies when they are appropriate. But there is a difference between asking questions and appearing to assume guilt before the facts are fully established. Demanding arrest before an independent investigation has sorted out conflicting accounts doesn't project fairness. It projects certainty. And certainty without complete evidence is a dangerous habit for any elected official. Imagine if the roles were reversed. Imagine if an Israeli official made serious accusations against an American soldier based on the dispute facts and immediate demand arrest before investigators had finished their work. Would Congressman Khanna be comfortable with that? I'm guessing probably not. So why should Israel be treated different? Look, Israel isn't perfect. No democracy is. America certainly isn't. But Israel is one of America's biggest allies, and our alliance should be based on facts, not assumptions, headlines, or political theater. That's why the incident deserves a thought. Transparent investigation. If anyone acted improperly, the evidence should determine accountability. If mistakes were made, they should be acknowledged. If Congressman Khanna's account is completely accurate, then the facts should be supported. If the IDF accounts are accurate, then the facts deserve equal consideration. That's how honest investigations work. That's how honest investigations work. Notice something? None of this requires rushing to television cameras demanding arrest before investigators finish their job. Unfortunately, that becomes one of the most common things in modern American politics. First comes the microphones, then come the social media posts, then comes the cable television interviews, and somewhere Usually much later comes the actual investigation. We've somehow reversed the process. That's not leadership, that's public relations. Congress should be setting an example for measuring judgment, especially when dealing with one of the most volatile regions in the world. Instead, too many politicians seem more interested in winning the next news cycle than waiting for the next verified fact. At a time when Israel continues facing threats from terrorism organizations and hostile regional actors, perhaps American lawmakers should spend less time creating avoidable diplomatic controversies and more time ensuring that this action does not make an already dangerous situation even more complicated. If Congressman Khanna generally wanted answers, an organized, coordinated visit would likely have been produced more information and fewer questions. Instead, we were left debating conflicted narratives. That's unfortunate because the truth matters, facts matter, and an investigation matters, especially before anybody starts demanding handcuffs. I'm Haylee Ficuciello, Senior Correspondent for Englebrook Independent News. Thank you for watching and have a good evening.